Hey everybody, it's I Want2Be Retro. Today we're going to take a look at repurposing a cheap Barracuda Networks device into a low-powered Docker host. To get started, download the Debian installation ISO and the Ventoy installer. Extract the downloaded Ventoy zip file. Then navigate into the extracted folder and right-click on Ventoy2Disk.exe and run as administrator. Select the target device to install Ventoy 2, double and then triple check that you have the correct device selected, then click Install. Once the installation completes, click OK and close Ventoy2Disk. Copy the downloaded Debian installation ISO to the new Ventoy flash media device. Once the file copy completes, safely remove the Ventoy device. Plug the Ventoy flash media into the Barracuda Networks device and power it on. Start pressing delete on the keyboard to enter the BIOS configuration. The default BIOS password is BCNDK1. Arrow over to the Exit tab and select Load Setup Defaults and then OK. Then select Exit and Save Changes and OK. The Barracuda Networks device will reboot and should boot into the Ventoy USB flash media. Select the Debian ISO from the menu and press Enter. When the Debian installer menu loads, press Enter to select Graphical Install. Select the language and click Continue. Select your location and click Continue. Then select your keyboard configuration. After a few moments of loading, enter a host name for the device, and optionally enter a domain name. Enter and confirm a root password, then click Continue. Enter a full name for the user account, then a username, then enter and confirm the password for the new user. Select the time zone to be used for the device. Select Guided, use the entire disk, then select the target device to install Debian to. Leave all files in one partition selected and click Continue. Review the partition layout and click Continue, and then select Yes to write the changes and continue again. Wait a few minutes while the installer copies files, then select the location closest to you and an apt mirror to use for your apt package manager. When prompted, select whether you'd like to participate in the package usage survey. Then select and deselect any packages you'd like to include in the default Debian installation. I'll be switching to the lighter XFCE desktop environment and including the SSH server. Once the selected optional software has been installed, select Yes to install the Grub Bootloader. Select the target device to install Grub to, usually dev SDA. Wait while Grub is installed. When prompted, remove the Ventoy USB flash device and then click Continue to reboot. The device should reboot into the new Debian install. Log in with the username and password set up during the installation. Now that we have our Linux distro installed and we're logged in, we need to install Docker. From the Applications menu, start the terminal emulator. We'll start by running sudo apt update to make sure our software repositories are up to date. Then we'll use the apt install command to install a few prerequisites required to get Docker installed. Next, we'll install the Docker GPG key and apt repository, followed by sudo apt update to pull in the packages from the Docker repository. Then we'll use apt install to install Docker, Docker Compose, and Containerd. With the Docker packages installed, we'll set the Docker service to be started and enabled. Add the current user to the Docker group and re-authenticate the current user for the group changes to take effect. We now have Docker installed and configured. Now we'll install Portainer to give us a web-based interface to manage our Docker instance. We'll start by making a working directory and then use the docker run command to start Portainer. Open a web browser and navigate to the DNS or IP of the host, :9000. Enter and confirm an admin username and password. Then Then choose if you'd like to share anonymous usage statistics, and click Create User. Click the Get Started button to use the local Docker instance. We've now repurposed our cheap, low-power Barracuda Networks device into a usable Docker host with web-based container management.